Roman Reigns rejects Gunther? WWE admits AEW is winning? The truth about Roman and Gunther. WWE vs AEW just got real. Roman Reigns' shocking decision. Have you ever seen a WWE dream match get so close that fans could practically taste it, only for one side to seemingly slam the brakes at the last second? And what happens when people inside WWE start saying things that sound suspiciously like an admission that AEW is winning battles WWE never expected to lose? Those two questions have been hanging over the wrestling world lately, and honestly, the deeper you look into them, the stranger everything becomes. Because for years, Roman Reigns has been positioned as the ultimate prize in WWE. The tribal chief. The man who carried the company through one of the most successful championship reigns in modern wrestling history. The guy whose presence alone could make a show feel bigger. Then there's Gunther. A machine. A walking five-star match. A man who treats wrestling rings the way a lumberjack treats trees. And somewhere along the way, fans started dreaming about the inevitable collision. Roman Reigns vs. Gunther. Power vs. power. Aura vs. aura. Champion mentality vs. champion mentality. It sounds like money. It sounds like a WrestleMania main event. It sounds like the kind of match WWE executives would normally frame, polish, and protect for years before finally pulling the trigger. But according to growing speculation making the rounds, things may not be quite so simple. Because the possibility that Roman Reigns isn't interested in rushing into a Gunther program has raised eyebrows throughout the wrestling community. Now, before anyone starts throwing their remote control across the living room, let's slow down for a second. We're not talking about fear. Nobody seriously believes Roman Reigns is afraid of Gunther. That's like saying a lion is afraid of another lion. These are two of the most protected stars in wrestling. The real question is strategic, and that's where things get fascinating. Roman Reigns operates differently than almost every wrestler in the company. Every appearance matters. Every feud matters. Every match matters. WWE spent years building Roman into a special attraction. You don't just plug him into random programs because it sounds cool on social media. Well, actually, social media thinks everything sounds cool. Social media would probably book Roman Reigns versus a shark if given enough time. But WWE has traditionally been more careful. That's why some fans believe Roman may be looking at the bigger picture. If Gunther is destined to become one of the faces of WWE's future, then timing becomes everything. Maybe the company wants to save that confrontation. Maybe Roman wants a different path. Maybe there are bigger plans nobody sees coming yet. And honestly, that's what makes this story so interesting. Because whenever Roman Reigns is involved, there is usually another layer hidden beneath the obvious one. The guy spent years turning long-term storytelling into an art form. Nothing involving Roman ever feels accidental. While fans debate whether a match with Gunther should happen now, later, or never, another conversation has quietly been gaining momentum. A conversation that might be even more shocking. AEW. Yes, that AEW. The company that arrived and changed the wrestling landscape forever. Think about where things stood before AEW came along. WWE was essentially operating without a major national competitor. Sure, there were other promotions. There were passionate fan bases. There were incredible wrestlers around the world. But WWE occupied a position that seemed almost untouchable. Then AEW arrived, and suddenly everything changed. Wrestlers had more options. Fans had more options. And perhaps most importantly, WWE had something it hadn't experienced in a very long time: pressure. Real pressure. The kind that forces companies to improve. The kind that forces creativity. The kind that forces uncomfortable conversations. Now here's where things get really interesting. Over the last few years, there have been moments when WWE personalities, executives, and talent have openly acknowledged the impact AEW has had on the industry. Not necessarily by saying, AEW is better. Let's be honest. No major company executive is standing on a table yelling that during a board meeting. That would be hilarious, but probably not career-enhancing. Instead, the admissions have been more subtle. Comments about competition being healthy. Acknowledgements that the industry is stronger. Recognition that alternatives matter. Every time one of those comments surfaces, fans start reading between the lines. Because what many supporters hear is something deeper. They hear WWE admitting that AEW succeeded. Not necessarily in beating WWE overall. That's a different conversation entirely. But succeeding in forcing WWE to evolve. And when you really think about it, that's hard to argue against. Look at the changes. Look at the renewed focus on in-ring quality. Look at the emphasis on signing and developing elite talent. Look at the increased attention given to fan reactions. Competition changes people. Competition changes companies. Competition changes industries. It's happened in sports. It's happened in technology. It's happened everywhere. Why would professional wrestling be any different? If you're enjoying this discussion so far, hit that like button and let me know in the comments where you stand. Do you think Roman Reigns vs. Gunther should happen immediately, or should WWE save it for a bigger stage down the road? And trust me, the answers to that question might reveal more about the future of WWE than people realize. Because wrestling has always been about timing. The greatest matches aren't just built around the right opponents. They're built around the right moment. Think about some of the biggest matches ever. Part of what made them special wasn't simply who was involved. It was when they happened. Fans were emotionally invested. The stars were at their peaks. The anticipation had reached a boiling point. That's the magic. And maybe that's exactly why Roman and Gunther remain such a fascinating possibility. The anticipation keeps growing. Every month that passes adds another layer. Every accomplishment adds another chapter. Every major victory raises the stakes. Meanwhile, AEW continues doing what it has always done, creating conversations, generating debates, forcing fans to compare products, and forcing analysts to compare business strategies. Let's be honest for a second. Even the most loyal WWE fan probably benefits from AEW existing, just like the most loyal AEW fan benefits from WWE existing. Competition gives everyone something to prove. Without competition, complacency becomes a danger. With competition, innovation becomes necessary. That's why the endless tribal warfare between fan bases sometimes misses the point. You know the arguments. WWE is better. No, AEW is better. No, my favorite company is better. Meanwhile, somewhere in the distance, a wrestling fan is just trying to enjoy a good suplex in peace.